We can talk about the breeding plan. I mean, we talk about that a lot. All studs are doing the same thing. We're all breeding. I mean, I think that's what makes it hard, what makes us unique. We're all doing the exact same thing. We all think we've got a really good vision and we all think we've got a really good place to go, and we do. It just takes a really long time.
But the amount of studs that are shutting that are of an amazing caliber, and the horses they produce and everything, and they're going bust, and that's
Scary.
where things are at. Like, we've been watching the last 5 years since we started doing this, that studs have downsized, studs are folding,
Some
studs
of the biggest
are...
warm blood studs that have been around since I was a kid and have been influences.
It's not just warm bloods, though.
I know it's not just warm bloods, but I mean, for me as a kid, warm bloods was everything that I wanted to get into, and the studs that were such huge, massive influences are now starting to step back, and I get that that's part of the natural progression, and it's good. This is our chance to shine and our chance to step up, because I mean, that's part of life, but it's wow. It is a bit of wow. I mean, it's a bit scary thinking, what are we doing stepping into this like this? But
especially because we're not breeding for purity of bloodlines. We're not about that. We're about our sport horses, because they tick so many requirement boxes for us that a bloodline doesn't check on its own.
for us.
For us, that's what I mean.
Yes.
But, you know, we're not breeding for purity, which means the prices aren't the same that you'd pay for a Holsteiner mare or something like that.
Yes.
But what we're breeding for and the traits we're breeding for, I'm hoping, are what the normal equestrian wants to interact with and spend their time with. You know, that's what makes us... I don't know if it's different. So many other studs have amazing horses, but we're breeding our horses for that bond and
companionship.
The companionship and it's the temperament and their mentality that our guys have that, you know, you can see it with the youngsters when they find their new owner and they bond with them. And, you know, you look at Donnie and how he's doing, and he's always been going to Rachel. And now that he's there and he's just doing so well, and that bond is amazing. And that's what we're doing this for. And it's, I guess the harder part for us is finding the right home for these guys to move on to and know that that's set up for them. And
forever as well, because it's very hard to think that something and someone you've spent so much time on and so much love and joy and pain and tears and sweat on could then have a troubled life. And I mean, that's, you know, these babies for us aren't just babies. They're not just horses. They're not just things you see in a paddock. They'd live with us inside the house if Paul could have his way. But they also, that bond, and to think of them having a life where they're going to be passed from home to home without love or without any joy, that it's not scary, it's a little bit sad.
But that's also why we're not selling them as babies, and we're not selling them untrained. You know, there's been a couple that have left without those skills, but they've gone to homes that are amazing. Whereas the other guys, I would rather wait for them to be under saddle, to have gone out and had a little bit of a career and have people going, wow, that's an awesome horse. So that when they leave and move on to that home, they have the skills to set themselves up and set their new owner up to be able to cultivate that bond to the point that they don't bounce from home to home, that they stay there because they have done so awesome.
And that's where they stay until they pass.
And look, that's a long process for us, and it's, you know, it as a business looking at a product that's going to take 5 years to grow, that's, well, 6 really if you include womb time as well. That's a long process, but we have to make sure our end product meets that goal, and we know that we're checking the boxes along the way. So it's just a couple more years before we hit that stage. I mean, I guess we're going to have our first one coming into saddle training. Well, he's already been started, but I guess after winter, when the ground's not so slippery, it's going to start ramping up so that we have our first one actually ready to start looking. But
we're 5.5 years into it. And, you know, one of the best pieces of advice that actually has probably helped us keep going without wanting to give up or without thinking, fuck, what the fuck are we doing constantly, was it takes 10 years for this type of business. And
10 years of baked beans on toast.
10 years of baked beans on toast. Thanks, Brenda. We love you for that advice because, and you're not the only person that has said that, but
it was the first time it actually sunk in.
Yeah.
And it's meant that, yes, things are hard. Things can be really hard, but there's a goal that we have, and we have put so much time and dedication into this that we're going to see it through. And, you know, we have plans for, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and we sort of fizzled at that point because we don't know where we'll be at that point. We take it at the 5-year hurdle at a time, but...
And I don't think that even when we started, I don't think we even saw ourselves here in 5 years, so...
But I do see by that 10-year mark, I will have my Zorse.
God.
And my llamas.
You're not getting llamas.
Bruce and Sheila.
Leave Bruce and Sheila out this. Our
You
people
want
do not
Bruce
need
and
to
Sheila.
hear
They
about-
are going to support me.
People don't need to
They
hear
want
about
to
Bruce
see Bruce and Sheila.
Leaving Bruce and Sheila out.
No.
No.
Bruce and Sheila.
Paul is not getting llamas.
I'll settle for alpacas.
Or alpacas. Fuck.
They're going to be called Bruce and Sheila.
Whether they're both male or both female or one of each. We're not getting
Who
them.
am I to judge what they want to do?
We're not getting them.
Bruce and
We
Sheila.
don't need more animals.
And baby Karen.
Fuck, we do not need a baby Karen. Jesus. What the fuck, man? Baby Karens turn into grown-up Karens. Karen, we love you.
But
So
they'll
much.
hang out so nicely with Bruce and Sheila.
Of course they will, yes. Fuck.
Yeah.
So back onto our breeding plan.
Oh, yeah. So,
Fucking Bruce and Sheila. Oh, God. So many years, guys. So many years.
they're coming.
Are
Just
they
like my
coming?
Zorse.
Yeah. So the Zorse is a zebra horse cross. And this has been something that Paul's been wanting to breed since we started.
I tell you what, Fandies would go so well to a zebra in a few years' time.
No.
That would be a Connemara,
No.
Holsteiner, Warm Bloods,
I think she's Holstein.
zebra. She's stunning, and her with stripes
What the fuck
in the
you-
eventing
No.
ring.
No.
Yes.
No, you got to have
Come on,
that.
show my support. Come on, support Bruce and Sheila and support that Zorse. Neil needs a bit of encouragement here.
I don't.
I've been working on him for 5 years,
I
and this
don't.
is the stage I've got him to. He's so close to
I
agreeing.
don't need help or support with this.
He does. Come
I
on,
don't.
guys.
And Paul doesn't need help with support with this. Hello, True.
I do. You know, I love Bruce and Sheila and that Zorse, and Neil knows it, and they're coming.
Fucking hell. Fucking sauce. Oh, gee.